Hi en welkom bij het interview met Pinkstylist. Pinkstylist. Yay! Natuurlijk is hij Brits, dus wij moeten het in het Engels doen. Dus vanaf nu is het Engels. Thank you for the interview.
It's all good. Thanks for asking me.
We asked our fans or our followers what kind of questions we should ask you. How do you decide which character you will create?
I get that asked that so many times, and the truth of it is, I don't. I sit down, and it literally could be anything. If I think about it too much, I will go off the idea. So I might sit down and think, clown, and then just I don't think about it unless I have to make a costume beforehand, which most of the time I do it in the same day. Mm-hmm. I just decide on the spot what I feel like doing and then make it up as I go along.
And how long does it take for you to create a character?
Well, when I'm not explaining the steps, like today when I'm doing my demos, it's probably going to take a couple of hours, give or take. But when I'm recording, it will probably take between 3 and 4 hours because I have to stop and explain, plus I go through a lot of bloopers.
Joy, she's my colleague and other interviewer. We traded a question. So Joy, this one's for you. How would you decide what kind of skin color? If you're a cosplayer, and every character has its own skin color, but you also have your own skin color. How are you going to match that?
How do you mean? Do you mean talking about matching to my skin color, or are you talking about doing like deciding to be blue or green or that kind of thing?
Well, for example, if you can see that characters are more pink based and your own skin color is yellow based, how are you going to match that without looking sick or without looking too fake?
Well, that's when it's to do with layering and color correcting.
Yeah.
It's difficult to describe without seeing it, but like for example, if I wanted to do a more pinky tone with my skin, I would do a heavy red base first. But if it was like alcohol activated palettes, it's going to get a bit technical. And then over the top of that, I would apply my skin color, but with a translucent color, so it kind of shows through to make it more pink. Because if you go in straight away with the color you want, it will look flat.
Yeah.
So building up the base color that you want first, and then going in afterwards, it really does help. It's also good to know because you look different on camera as opposed to in real life as well. It's a lot of light does wash you out, so it does help to do the makeup with lights on you as well. Or the lights you know it's going to be. So if you're going to be outside a lot, it's best to do the makeup in daylight because it'll be completely different.
They say the sun is the hardest light you can work under.
It is and it isn't. It's the harshest light, but if you do it in that light, it's best. Okay. That's why I work with white light usually, just because it's most unforgiving, if that makes sense. So if you can make it look good in the worst light, brilliant.
Right. that sounds actually really logical. When are you going to use prosthetics? Because you were really amazing with shadows. So if you want to change your face, you can use it with shadow or with highlight. But sometimes, like if you want a big witch nose, you have to need prosthetics. So where's the balance in it? When do you choose makeup and when do you choose prosthetics?
Well, again, it comes down to what I feel like doing, but I'm fortunate enough to have learned how to sculpt and cast. Yeah. So I've got a long catalogue of different noses. I've got about 15 different noses I could go to. And because I mostly use gelatin, I can mould it and have the piece ready within about half an hour to an hour.
Oh, wow.
So I can mix and match.
Yeah.
So if I want a big chin and a little nose, I'll just, But if it's like I'm doing today, a full foam prosthetic, I'd have to plan that in advance because I've not got the studio to make them, so I purchase them. Okay. But I can plan that in advance and it'll always be there because, it's when I fancy using it. But no, you're right though, sometimes you need that impact, like the nose or a chin or a massive brow or something. Yeah,
I really love the drag queen makeup sometimes. And you can see them, they draw amazing eyebrows.
If you can master drag makeup, you can most likely master most other, because that's essentially the biggest character you can be, isn't it? If you can pull that off,
What are your criteria for a good wig?
Well, oddly enough, I have probably in excess of 200 wigs.
Whoa.
I do use wigs, but my videos, not as often, because if the wig isn't perfect for the look, it can really damage it. It can cheapen it a little bit. But I tend to find, not real hair wigs, my favourite wigs tend to be synthetic but can be styled with heat.
Oh yeah.
So, it's difficult to describe really. Lace fronts and synthetic but can have heat to them. They're the best wigs to work with because they'll look natural no matter what. I mean, I do use them occasionally, like usually it's for historical tutorials,
Yeah.
like Marie Antoinette, big hair or something like that. But it's difficult. But lace front though, if you can invest in a lace front wig,
Yeah.
because the fake hairline looks so good.
Yeah, because most of our followers, they really love cosplay, but don't have the big budget to go for a full real wig with everything on it. So what I like, if you say 3 points, what's the things that you should like invest in?
Well, you can even cheap. You can get wigs really cheap if you get a generic wig.
Yeah.
And the thing to invest, if you've got, say, it takes some time to get used to, but it depends on how good you want to do it. But if you had a small bit of lace,
Yeah.
and even stuck, it's best to sew it in, but sew a few bits of hair, a tiny strip, and then attach it to the front of the wig. You can make your own lace front fairly ineffectively, fairly cheaply. But that's the best thing, and trying to stay away from wigs that are synthetic wigs that are very shiny, because that tends to make it look a bit cheap, and plus they're very hard to turn. But if you can get ones that can have heat applied to them, you can do anything with it usually.
When you're painting yourself, you start with dark lines where to put. For example, the Attack of Titan one you did, you put a few black lines on it. How do you know where you should put the lines on your face?
The eyeliner pencils.
Yeah, I think so.
That's why I always start with that, because you can rub it out. You're just sketching on, like you would sketch a drawing really lightly first, and then go in and darken it up and neaten it up. But with that makeup, that was a fun one, because you could work in patches at a time and just go as a grid makeup.
Yeah.
But that's one of the whenever anyone asks me that, always the best thing to invest in is a really good eyeliner pencil.
Really?
You can do any makeup with that one thing.
Yeah, because it looks so scary. You just put on the lines, and I was like, oh, what if you do one wrong? And you have to, well, you're in the beginning, but like, for example, when later on, when you have almost a full face, aren't you afraid to like put the one bit of purple wrong, and you're like, yeah, now I have to do my whole face again?
Not really, because if you do it wrong, if you do it right, and you know how to remove it, it's not too difficult. And plus you'll learn from doing the mistake anyway. But when you work like that makeup, when I work in one area at a time, if I make a mistake, you can salvage it. You can, as long as you know you've got like a really sharp, clean, crisp cloth, you can take it off and then redo it. You'll have to backtrack a step or two, but if you worry about making the mistakes, you probably will. It's best to put it out of your mind and just go with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I just said, we have a lot of cosplayers as followers. And if somebody wants to start, like my favorite camera lady, what do you say was the best character to start with?
Oh, that's really difficult. Costume or makeup involved.
Well, you're a makeup specialist,
Fair
so.
enough. That makes sense. I would start with the more rougher characters that doesn't need to be perfect.
Okay.
Because if you start off with something, jumping in the deep end is always good. But if you do something, if you start, for example, your first makeup, you're going to do the Attack on Titan one. That's an ambitious one to start off with, and if you do it and you're not happy with it, that could really affect your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Doing something like the Heath Ledger's Joker, or something, because I see a lot of those. Ones that are more weathered and worn, and you can make it messy with reason. That they're the kind of best ones to start with, I think, because then they're relatively easy and they're very forgiving, and then you can work upwards from there. Because you could do a messy makeup with one very intricate detail, like his mouth, like the cuts. You could do that, just spend all your time on that, and the rest of it can be really worn.
Yeah.
But then work your way up, and then get neater and neater, and then go on, the more ambitious ones.
What type of character do you still want to create anime or manga wise? Like, for example, I was thinking when I was doing the interview, why wouldn't you do like manga character, like the black and white, like straight from the comics?
I've had the idea. It's like illustration type sketchiness. I have had that idea. Problem is though, when I go to do something like that, like I wanted to do a whole Death Note straight from the manga series, but whenever I start doing it, I think I kind of want to do the more realistic version, and then I worry if I do two of the same one illustrated and one regular, I might start repeating looks. Right. But I might choose one manga, and stick to it.
What is a type of character you want to do, but you still haven't done?
There's a few all in the same category. Any characters that have prosthetics but more costume, like large horns or big costumes that I would have to spend a few weeks making, because as I said, I do them in a day turnaround type thing.
Yeah.
I haven't got the time to make something like that, and that's always almost. I want to do characters like the devil characters from. Mine's gone blank now. Like the Empress New Group, Panic at Disco, the big horns.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tim Curry in Legend. Yeah, another big horns character, because I'd have to sculpt them or make it would take a long time.
Yeah.
But I've always, at some point I will do, but at some point I need to do those, because it's going to take me longer to do them. If that makes sense, or giant wings or something.
And then the last question, and my favorite one. You're a very happy person, but almost always, you make a bit of a horror-themed makeup. Are you a happy thinker or a fantasizer about doom?
Oh, I think I'm definitely optimistic. I'm a very happy thinker. I like to think. Yeah, absolutely. I'm a very happy thinker, but doing horror makeups, because I can still be very happy doing scary makeups. Yeah. That's what not puts people off. That's people like seeing a scary character with a happy voice, and that makes me happy. So. But happiness is infectious. So.
Yes, I certainly believe that. Well, thank you for the interview, and I learned a lot about makeup and cosplay. So I hope you did too, and I hope to see you soon again.